Hello and welcome to the Carrier Conversations podcast. I'm Andy Barr, founder of Barstow Transportation, and we are so glad you decided to tune in today. At Barstow Transportation, we are the premier transportation brokerage that focuses on over-the-road or LTL food and beverage transportation, operating in Canada and U.S. Now, whether you are a company driver, owner-operator, or an owner of a small, medium, or mega-sized carrier, this podcast is for you. We'll cover how to run a profitable carrier, how to recruit the best drivers and keep them, and so much more. Lastly, at the end of each episode, make sure to stick around because we'll share with you how you can apply to be on the podcast yourself. Interviews are about 15 minutes long, and I'll leave you with my favorite quote: preparation plus opportunity equals success. And that's all for now. Keep those wheels turning, and I'll see you on the inside. All right, so today we have Billy Barstow with us. Billy, thank you for joining the Carrier Conversations podcast. We are very excited to have you today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, this is a brand new podcast we just came out with. You are our third episode, and Billy, not trying to brown nose you. We love you guys. You guys are super dependable, super reliable. And really just do a fantastic job for us. So, as we kind of kick this off, Billy, kind of give us a background of how you got into transportation and when you started Barstow and kind of just a little look back at history.
Well, I started trucking. Well, I guess I was kind of born into it because my grandfather was a trucker and my uncle was a trucker, and I always looked up to him. Unfortunately, my grandfather was out of Ohio going over to Hunts Point, and he passed away on the docks there in Hunts Point with a brain aneurysm. Not to bring everybody down, and then my uncle, who I looked up to very much, was driving truck, and I don't know, I was just fascinated with it. And so when I got older, I joined the military. I was in the Army, and I went overseas, and I was a combat engineer. Well, I was supposed to run heavy equipment, which I did: bulldozers, backhoes, forklifts, 5-yard loaders, just about anything you could think of. And they pointed me out. I was going to be a bulldozer operator, and they said, "Here's your bulldozer, and there's your flatbed to pull it with. No training, nothing. Just get in the truck and pull your bulldozer." So that's what I did.
They didn't even tell you this is how you back up a flatbed or RGN. They just said, "Here, just go trial and error."
Not really. Not really. I mean, there's other people around doing it. If I had any questions, there were tips from other drivers and stuff. But no, there was no training. There was training on the bulldozer, but not on the truck. That was kind of a surprise. So me, liking trucking so much that I couldn't get away from it. It just jumped on me wherever I went.
Very good. Very good. Okay. And then from there, you hauled some hanging meat and you found your way working with UJP. Tell us about that.
Okay. Yeah. When I first got out of the military, I went to a company called Beef, which you mentioned, Swinging Beef. I used to pick out and haul into Brooklyn, New York, which if anybody knows about trucking or swinging beef, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do because all the weight's from the roof. Worked there for a while. Then I went to like the U.S. Foods. It was called Mutual Wholesale back in the day. And I was delivering to Uncle John's Smoked Sausage, picking up their product in the direct store delivery, and got to be friends with the manager there. And then one day he asked me to come and manage his trucking company he was starting out with. He had 2 trucks, and he wanted to start out a trucking company. I got over there, and when I left, there was 13 trucks running LTL.
Nice. Okay. And so you were with UJP for a while, and then you're like, what, there's a big mental shift, right? From being an employee and being a business owner. So how did that shift happen? Like, it's courage, you have to be prepared. It's not for everybody to be an entrepreneur, right? So how did you and why did you shift from being an employee, working at sounds like a great company, to going off on your own, taking a risk and starting a trucking company?
Well, when I first started UJP, I was told that if I got it going, they would make me a partner. That was the owner, not the gentleman I do goes with him. And so I'd get to a certain number and they'd make me part ownership. Well, I got to that number, and he said, well, this is my company. I'm not giving you anything. So he said, I'll pay you a good salary, but I'm not giving you anything. Well, that wasn't my goal. My goal was to have my own. So I said, thank you very much. And I walked out the door.
Okay. So and 6 months later, you had a trucking company. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that's that. And, if you've got the experience in the transportation, you enjoyed it, that makes sense. It's a good match, because you don't want to just start a company. It's always good to start a company that you actually have experience in and interest, right? Because you can draw from your previous experience.
Well, I was young then too, and my father-in-law jumped in and told me, basically, you go get a truck and I'll finance it for you, which helped me because I didn't have a lot of experience as being an owner operator, and banks don't give loans to trucking companies. So he helped me. He's probably the biggest reason I started my own business, because my father-in-law took care of me.
Okay. Nice. Well, it's always helpful to have some help when you're starting out, and of course, everyone needs help. The first question we want to look at today is, let's say, you're one of the trucking companies that's lucky enough to bring in a new driver. There's all these drivers out there, but it's hard to have them come work for you, right? Even if you're a really solid company, there's just so much competition for the drivers. There's incentives to leave and go to another company because of the bonuses. What is a few little key takeaways that a person that maybe they've got 3 trucks, 5 trucks, and they're trying to grow to 25 or 30 trucks, they're trying to grow it to a more substantial size. How do you keep the good drivers?
Well, first of all, you got to get a relationship with them. You got to, and I say you got to be friends with them. I really am.
Yeah.
I communicate with all my drivers. I know what all the drivers want. I know what all the drivers need. I know how they want to run. I know where they want to run, and I listen to them. They tell me something, I'll make it happen. I give them the opportunity to come home anytime they want to. They can go out for 3 days, and if they need to be home, I won't even ask a question. I'll bring them home. If that becomes like every day he does that, then the truck ain't making any money, then we'll sit down and talk, which has never happened. Most of the guys, you got good drivers, they want to run and they want to make money. Mm-hmm. So, you don't have to tell them you got to stay out 14 days. You got to stay out 21 days. You don't have to tell them that. They do what they want to. They do what they need to do and what they want to do. Every drivers have different needs. Some of the drivers have young kids. You want to be home for weekends, for baseball games and stuff. So I'm going to make that happen. Some drivers want to live in the truck and run all over the place and make a ton of money. I don't have a problem with that. But you just got to have that friendship, that communication. They're not a number. They're not money. You can't look at them as money, like, oh, this driver's got to make me this much money. I don't think that's what you got to do. I think you've got to get like I said, a relationship and what the driver needs and what you need, and you end up getting them to stay. I got one driver that's been with me for over 20 years.
Well, that makes sense, right? Because business is done with people. I mean, of course, there's in the business to business world, B2B versus B2C, you've got, it's all about people. People remember, how you make them feel and how you have made them feel the last time you interacted with them. And it's,
and
go ahead.
Okay. Well, and also you got to, if they have a problem on the road, you got a broker griping or something like that. I always try to take the driver's side of the story, because, take what's going on with them, what the process was, why he's running late or something like that. So I'll usually take, I'll stand behind my drivers, and they appreciate that, because, some people was worried about the customer. The customer is second to my drivers. That's just the way it is. I get some grief from it or from my customers sometimes, but that's the way I'm going to, keep it that way.
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point, right? We want to take care of your internal team first before you go outside. Of course, you want to take care of customers and brokers and things of that nature, but you got to make sure your internal company is solid first, right? So that makes
Right.
That makes sense. Now with rates, as high as they are now, one would think, man, I can pay a driver a lot of money and I can just, grow my driver roster quickly because I can come out and just say, hey, we can pay more. Rates are up. I mean, when rates are down, I assume you can pay less, or you have to pay less. So talk to us about that a little bit.
Well, I never take pay away. I don't care what happens. I will never say you're not making, I'm bringing your percentage down or your mileage down. I'll never do that. If I make it, we get your rates where you want to be and you're comfortable, then we better continue to work hard, make it happen, because I will never tell a driver that he has to cut his pay. Never. The rates are up right now and you have to make decisions based on that. So you want to bring your drivers up because you got other companies promising crazy numbers that I know that can't be maintained for a long time. They get the driver over there, then, the driver finds out that there's, things behind their numbers to say.
Mm-hmm.
So they usually come back to me or, so you got to raise your rates and you got to be smart and just try to figure out the economy, and trucking economy. It's different from the world economy, definitely. Just like the rates are up now, and I don't look for them. They're going down just because of the shortage of trucks and drivers, and I don't think it's going to get better. I think it's going to get worse. So, once we're getting paid what we deserve.
Right. No. I mean, you guys are in a very good position now, and I think you'll remain in that position for quite some time, for a number of years. If not, like you said, it might just always go up from here. It's the COVID, the supply and demand. It's all through a huge wrench into it, and no one has the answers right now. So it's a crazy time, but it's good for you guys. It is good, right? Because you have the higher rates, and like you said, now you're getting paid what you deserve. So it's a good time to be a carrier. As we look at the second item here, efficiency, right? So whether you have 2 trucks, 20 trucks, or 200 trucks, you always want to be as efficient as possible, right? Limit downtime, limit breakdowns, just limit, of course, like you said, treat your drivers as partners and as people, but also you want that truck going, right? Because that's how the business runs. So how do you do that as far as like maintenance goes, and also any other factors? Go ahead, Billy.
Well, trucking is a everyday school. Every time you sit down at your office desk and you start doing things together, you learn stuff and you learn trends. And one thing I can tell you, when I first started out trucking, of course, I had my own truck. I ran it. Then I bought a second truck, a third truck. I got up to like 5 trucks. Then I came out of the driving seat and started being a dispatcher and getting freight and stuff. And then, I grew and grew and grew. And now we're up to 22 trucks, because you learn stuff. Now, you're trying to follow the question a little bit. We've learned, what I was going to is what we've learned is we used to lease our trucks in 5-year lease programs. Well, after studying that, after the 4th year of a truck, the maintenance goes up immensely. So we cut our leases down from 5 years to 4 years. So when the trucks start giving us problems, we get rid of them and replace them with new trucks. Now, when we buy trucks, we buy the biggest warranty we can possibly get. And we buy all the same brand. I have all Peterbilts. I have one Volvo. I'll explain that here in a second. But so you get a relationship with Rush Peterbilt, and I'm a priority customer. So if my stuff breaks down and I'm near Rush Peterbilt, when I go in, I get priority.
Mm-hmm.
And with the newer trucks, most of the breakdowns are simple. A sensor or something like that. It's usually not a motor or transmission, stuff like that, within the 4 years. So we cut out all the older equipment. That being said, I got a truck that's been on the road for 4 3/4 a year. This is the last trucks we did on the 5-year plan, and it's been broke down in Cleveland for 2 weeks now. It's just been a nightmare. But we don't usually have that because our trucks are rotated every 4 years. And there's, like I said, a huge difference. If you're in a truck, you buy a truck, the 4th year to the 5th year is way, that 1 year you'll do 3 times as you did just the whole time before. You have a maintenance program. You making sure you do, maintenance at the proper time, fuel filters, you want to keep that done I usually go about every 7,000 miles on fuel filters. And with the regular maintenance, I got 25,000, which is what Peterbilt suggests. And when it's there, I don't care where we're at. We have a contract with Love's. We'll put it in there, and they'll take care of it, do the services and stuff. I also have 2 local mechanics here, are both really inexpensive compared to being out on the road, and they get my equipment all the time. I even got one who comes, picks up my trucks and take it back to their shop, then brings it back here to the yard. And their work is really good, and I really appreciate them.
So, Billy, would you say that in an ideal world, you would have a 3-year lease, and then after 3 years, you get a new truck?
Well, we've gone to 4, and that seems to be doing pretty good. Anything longer than that is not good. We've gone to 4. We've talked about 3, but we're lucky right now because there's no trucks out there. And if we went to 3, we'd have some trucks turned in and no new trucks to run. So I guess it was good timing, the 4, because it gives us an extra year. We got equipment ordered from Peterbilt, and it's just not. I got 1 truck last December, I think. I had 4 on order. I got 1, and they're still talking about maybe another year before I get the other ones.
Man, okay. So like everything else, everything's back ordered, and you just got to wait. So you got to get the orders in soon.
Yeah, Peterbilt's just waiting for some sensors that they don't do themselves, and someone else builds it, and they're on the back order. So you got you go to any Peterbilt, manufacturer, and there's millions of trucks, literally not million, but there's thousands of trucks sitting out there just waiting for that one part before they can deliver it.
Sure.
It's sad. Yeah. But that's what we've done in our society, is we've relied on other people instead of doing it ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Overseas production has really hurt us, as we've all seen in 2021 and 2020 as well. Right. We kind of talk about trucks, Billy, and that kind of brings you to, I don't want to go too off tangent here, but just, Kenilworth, Peterbilt, Volvo, pros and cons, which one's the Mercedes, which one's the Honda Civic, how does that all shape up? Well,
I've always been a Peterbilt guy because Peterbilt was the Cadillac of trucks. I mean, a 389, when you've seen it come by, everyone just stopped and looked at it. And to me, it has the biggest name. But I'm learning that Volvo is really stepped up their game. And I'm looking at some of those for, rest of the, when I'm in business. We bought 3 Peterbilts and 1 Volvo over a year ago. And the only truck has not been in the shop has been the Volvo.
Okay. Volvo's known for safety, right? That's for cars. So I don't know if that translates to a very durable truck.
Well, maintenance wise, it seems to be. You've done business with Fidel, and Fidel's been with me for a very long time, and I told him to go pick a truck out, and I sent him to the Peterbilt dealer, and he drove by and went to the Volvo dealer because that's what he wanted. So that's my 1 Volvo. But that's what I do. My drivers.
Yeah.
My drivers who've been with me a long time, I let them go pick out their truck.
Yeah. No, Fidel does a great job. So, if he's your 20-year vet, I don't know if the prices are similar, but if they're similar, then sure, you give your tenured guy the star.
Yeah. I pack all my trucks out. When I buy them, I get them everything they need inside. I don't have any stripped down versions of trucks out there. They all have everything you could possibly think of, refrigerators, microwaves and stuff in their truck. They have that. And, they're nice, pretty trucks. They ain't just old white ones and stuff. I get colors and, that's another thing about keeping drivers is, man, their equipment, most of your good drivers, they take pride in their equipment. I go out to one of my trucks and there's all kinds of new chrome on it. And I'm like, they don't ask for any money for it. They want it in their truck. They said, we're going to stay here. I want a nice looking truck. So it's kind of nice, for a driver to have nice equipment. So that's another thing we do to keep drivers.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. You gotta for athletes, you got to look good to play good. Well, for drivers, you got to be in a nice truck and be comfortable to drive well, right? I mean, you're going to be on the road in that truck for an immense amount of time, so you better be comfortable, right? So
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay, now the golden question everyone's talking about: how to find the best paying freight.
Well, I think what you do is you when you do get loads of certain people, or some people, new people, whatever, you just making sure you do your job. You do what you tell them to do. You making sure your drivers are on the ball. And if they ain't on the ball, then you have to look at them. So what I've done is I've done some freight for, different, and they just love us because we do what we're supposed to. And I guess out there in the world, I don't know, I can't talk about anybody else, but they don't get what they're looking for. But they know when they put a load on my truck, that it's going to get done unless something's unforeseen. And then you build that customer relationship. Then they start asking for all your trucks, and then they start paying you more to keep your trucks because they know if they go online and get some other truck, they might not get what they're looking for. And brokers are like, truckers, they want to be reliable. So if you book my truck and your customer, the broker's customer is taken care of, then the broker's customer is going to give them more freight, and then it's going to be passed on to you. So yeah, I got brokers who pay me more money than by average because they know on my trucks it's going to get done.
And that makes a tremendous amount of difference and sense because, Bill, I know, carriers that, are geographically close to you, 10 times your size, but 20% as reliable as you are. 20%, like not even close. So
yeah, every 10 trucks you've got a truck messing up your load, that's going to kill your customer. Ain't going to be happy with that at all. So
exactly. So what do you do? What are some golden nuggets operationally wise? Like if you've got 10 loads leaving on one day, do you out of the same city or within 50 miles, right, of your hometown, do you keep one extra truck just in case one of the trucks goes sideways? You can switch trucks around, or what do you do to have such great reliability?
I don't keep an extra truck. Most of the time, with my drivers coming in and going out, there's another truck or another driver. I'll call them, say, hey, buddy was one the other day. I had a load, got messed up, and it had to go a day before. Buddy was off. I thought, hey, buddy, can you do this load? You don't have to do it, but can you do it? And 90% of the time, my drivers say yes, they do it. So, and we do have one truck that runs around here, and if it ain't Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, that truck's sitting here too. And usually I have one truck, maybe. I don't keep it that way, but I'm short drivers right now. I have 2 or 3 trucks empty, so there's a truck to jump into them. So yeah, we do what we can to make the customer happy with the loads.
Okay, so basically, like you said, it comes down to just having flexible drivers. They're not forced to take that new load last minute, but a lot of times they do, just because hopefully it's paying enough, like you said, that it's worth it. It's more than the market because the brokers are giving you the extra pay for it, and they know it's a good load, and they like you, so that's why they treat you well and are flexible with the last minute adjustments.
I have this said to me more than maybe pat myself on the back, but I have drivers telling me that I'm the best boss to ever work for. So that makes me happy. When I hear that, I cannot be more happier because, you get that loyalty, and I'm loyal to them too. So this back to the driver's relationship.
Yeah. No, Billy, I mean, like you said, treat people well, don't overwork them, listen to them. When they want home time, give them home time. Don't force dispatch. I mean, it doesn't sound too complicated, right? But for some reason, it's rare. I guess it's rare because I don't own a trucking company, but it seems like maybe there's a bunch of dispatchers that force dispatch, or, I don't know how in the world you can actually survive in a carrier world today if you're not going to treat your drivers right, because they'll leave you. So it's just, right. I don't know, you can speak on this, but it just blows my mind that that's not like table stakes, right? Of just treating people well. And like you said, other carriers are paying a lot more, crazy rates right now, but they, a driver or two may leave you and then they figure out, well, it's not actually what they were talking about. And then they come back. So it's, yeah, Billy, you got the secret sauce. So.
Well, it's not perfect by no means, and I don't make as much money as a lot of other people do. But it's really not my goal. I mean, I want to make money. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I don't want to make money, but I don't have to get rich off of everybody. That's just not the way I see it. I want to be here for a while, and if I can be level and have about the same income, then that's one other thing I ask for. One thing I wanted to mention, Barstow Transportation is a family company. My wife has been by my side from day one, starting this company. She's been doing everything, living Barstow Transportation for a long time. She did work for Lockheed Martin, but she retired from there. Now she's coming back and doing my billing. My daughter, my son-in-law are dispatchers, and then I have my partner, business partner, Rodney, who does all the book work and stuff, and I handle the trucks. But we're a small company. We don't have a lot of overhead, so that helps too.
Excellent. Well, Billy, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you again. And let's say there's a driver out there that heard this and I'm like, you know what? Billy sounds like an all right guy. How does one connect with you? Phone number, email, text, what's best for you? What's that number?
Barstow Transportation is 863-279-4833. That's my desk phone. And if I don't answer, go to my cell phone. And let me give you my cell phone number too, 863-661-0329. If you want to come on, you don't have to call me. You can text me and we can set up a conversation and go from there.
There you have it, folks. Give Billy a call. You will not regret it. Billy, thanks again.
Oh, what?
Yes, sir.
Let me interrupt you. Also, I have drivebarstow.com on the internet. That'll get your application and give you a little bit more information, phone numbers for you. drivebarstow.com.
drivebarstow.com. Perfect.
Yep.
All right, folks. Thank you, Billy, again, and I'll talk to you on the phone.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Alrighty, thank you for listening to today's Carrier Conversation podcast brought to you by Barstow Transportation. Now, if you are a successful driver, dispatcher, or owner of a trucking company, and you believe you have some secret sauce to share and enjoy helping others grow, then look no further. Simply go to bartrans.com, click on Carriers, and you'll find the Carrier Podcast. Now, as you know, topics range the whole spectrum from maintenance to fuel to driver recruiting to something I'm not thinking of. Just absolutely tons to talk about, and we'll never run out of topics. Lastly, if you enjoyed the podcast, please like, subscribe, tweet, reshare it with everyone you know. Tell other drivers at truck stops about it. Spread the word. As you know, collectively, we can learn a lot together, right? Knowledge is power. That's all for now. Keep those wheels turning, stay safe, and remember, preparation plus opportunity equals success.